I know it's been a while since I've uploaded something, but but anyways, on topic, I will be showing you all my deck profile for Artisaria. And then enough chit chatting. Let's just get onto it. So your starter is Prota because you need it. Your grade 1 is Artisaria because okay, so she is really important because you need her to be your starter in order to use her effect, which is when placed from writing from a specific starter. Reveal a grade 3 card with Artisaria in your right deck, switch up to a sound system, reveal it, add it to your hand, shuffle. And then your grade 2 works the same when she is placed from her. And now your main Vanguard is Artisaria, which is during your turn, if your order zone has 2 or more sound system orders, she gets critical +1. And then once per turn, during your main phase, which is an activation, energy +2, choose the sound system order from your hand or drop, set into order zone. If you set it from hand, you draw a card. Quite obvious right there. So sound systems are basically these 2 orders, Shot and Shadow and Mega Rovania, which I will go through them later. So, and then when she attacks, counter +1, call up to a Shadow Army. No, call up to the same number Shadow Army has number of sound system. So, just simplify, it's call one Shadow Army for 1 sound system. If you have 2, you call 2, and so on. And then your front row gets 5k for every 2 sound system orders in your order zone. Which, if during your Persona right time turn, it would be front row +15 when she attacks, which is most probably your 3rd attack and so on. Alright, 3 copies of Luminoil. When she's placed, reveal a grade 3 Artisaria from hand, or you have a Vanguard with Artisaria, you can energy +2, call a Shadow Army to a Vanguard circle, but that token cannot attack until end of turn. However, it can still boost, which I know like some new players might think that the attacking is the same as boosting, but it's actually not. And then when she's placed on the Guardian Circle, if your Vanguard is Artisaria, you can retire 1 or more, maximum 2 Shadow Army tokens, and she gets 10k for each token retired. Making her a maximum 25k shield is good, since this deck doesn't really have that many defensive options. Other than, I mean, you can technically run that old triple rare grade 2, but most lists nowadays don't really run her. But if you want, you can replace her with it, but it's up to you. Ace unit, just for the unique skill, which is when she's placed other than during the battle phase, she gets 5k, and then energy +3, draw a card, choose one of your rigors, and it gets rate tax. At the end of your turn, you may bounce this unit back to hand. Usually, if I have her, I would target my booster to get back to hand. That is just one way to like bounce my cards. And then, when she attacks, if your opponent's Vanguard is greater, until end of that battle, so initially, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3, when she attacks, she gets 5k until end of the battle she attacks. And then She gets 5k if 2 or more of your regards were placed this turn. So she technically becomes a 25 attacker if you use her at a good order, at a good timing. So yeah. Up next, not many people run this, but I run only 2 copies of her. So when she is placed with a token unit, which means it's by overcalling, you can counterblast 1 or soul blast 2, draw a card, and if your Vanguard is greater or greater, she gets 5k until end of turn. So she becomes a 15k attacker, I guess. And then when a token unit is placed on the same regular circle that she's on by the effect of your Vanguard, you can bounce her back to hand. In other words, if you use Artisaria's skill to call a Shadow Army, and then if you choose to call that Shadow Army on top of her, and then when by right she would get retired, but thanks to her skill, you can bounce her back to hand. I run only 2 copies. Not everyone runs it, but it's good to have her as a. I mean, it's based on my opinion, so yeah. 4 copies of Airless. When she's placed, look at top 7 cards. Choose up to a sound system order. Choose up to 1 sound system from the top 7 and discard it, shuffle your deck. It's a good filter. So she is one of the good filters to have in the deck, so that you won't really break, our other orders if you don't draw into them. And then when she's retired from Breaker Circle, if your Vanguard is Artisaria, Grade 3 Artisaria, call up to a Shadow Army token to a back row. Now, how do I explain this? Usually you would use her last effect during a battle phase so that you can have like a extra booster, or so it's like a extra booster. So what I would do, or what I would usually like to do, I would attack her first without boost, and then attack with my other rear guard with boost. Wait, sorry, no. Attack her with. Yeah, I mean, it's not really that. Okay, using the second skill, I would say it's not easy to just explain it. But moreover, it's more easier if you try it out yourself. But overall, I can't really explain how it works, so yeah. Up next is 3 copies of the new support, Sophia. So when she's placed, look at top 5. Choose. You can add your persona, right? Or 1 sound system order. Reveal it, add it to your hand, and shuffle. If you reveal the card, you choose the card from hand, put it into your soul, or just discard it. And then when she attacks, she gets 5k for each sound system card in your order zone. If I would explain it correctly for her second effect, by your turn 4, she will be, if you include persona, right, she's a 30k itself with no boost. Wait, no, she's not. Yeah, she is. But yeah, I run 3 copies of her for her, since she is a top 7 filter. She's a top 5 filter. So that's why I run 3 copies. So, but she's good. She's good. 2 copies of a familiar card that we both know. Reverbera. I hope I say it right. She gets +5 if your Artisaria has a sound system. So, and she's more of like a turn 3 card if I would to put it like this. And then at the end of the battle, she boosted. If your Artisaria has a sound system, you can put her into soul. Choose one of your rear guards and bounce it back to hand. So she's one of a good example where you can bounce more cards to hand. That's what I mean. That is somewhat, and there's like one more reason why I like about this deck, because Artisaria does have a few supports to bounce things back to hand, just like Chris Rain. But then I think Chris Rain usually bounces back from mostly by her own effect. So yeah. 2 copies of Nabity. When she's discarded from your hand during your turn, you may put her into soul. And then at the end of the battle, when after she boosts a token unit, let's say like a Shadow Army token for Artisaria and then a plant token for the Juicy Fruity deck, you can put her into soul and countercharge 1. I run only 2 copies, but if you don't want to run her, you can, or like you can run 1 more if you don't want to run her. But or if you don't want to run her, you can change her up to 3 and then her up to 4. But I run to this one just for, it's more of a filler, I guess. Next, 3 copies of your Vanguard booster. When she's placed from hand, you may reveal grade 3 Artisaria from your red deck, and then if you reveal a card, or your Vanguard is Artisaria, you can counter+1 draw a card. So she's I'm not sure if I would if my explanation is easy. So if you go second, you can call her behind your Vanguard, counter+1 draw, and then essentially your Vanguard would be 16, and then yeah. But that is it for like the main cards. Your 3 unit PGs, because you already have Elementaria. And yeah, triggers. Over trigger is gonna be the blue OT. Not to just guess, I think you might be wondering, why is this over trigger here? This over trigger is actually the blue OT due to its additional effect. It's just a Benjamin version of the blue OT from the new set, or like the recent collab set from Benjamin, just to celebrate their 10th anniversary. And yeah, next up is your 8 crits. I'm running 8 crits. 3 of your soul fronts. You may choose to run shield front if you, I mean, you can run the shield front. It's based on personal preferences. If your soul is like manageable, you can run the 20k shield fronts. If you cannot, then the soul front is a good option. 4 heals. I'm running off vanillas. You may choose to run the shield heals, but that's either from a personal preference or like the meta matchups, let's say. For your Regalis piece, I will go with Caliburn. Usually I would use it if I need to for the counter charge effect. But if you don't want to run Caliburn, I guess you can try Fire Regalis. I haven't tried it with Fire Regalis yet. Or you can run Shot in Darkness, but technically you can, but I would prefer Radiance Caliburn. It's a good card. I have been running her in like Artisaria for like a long while already, so I'm surprised I guess it still works for me. Yeah. So up next is your Sun System, which is Shot and Shadow and Mega Romania. You would be running 3 each, not 4, or else you might break. So Shot and Shadow and Mega Romania, they both have a continuous ability, which is you can't play them normally, so they have to be set from your Vanguard's effect. Which, okay, so for new players, if you would use Artisaria skill to set one of these two either way into your order zone, it does not count as playing an order because you only put orders. You don't play them, because if it does say play, you cannot play the Caliburn. So yeah, first of all is Shot and Shadow. When this card is put into your order zone, draw a card, call up to Shadow Army. If you set it from hand thanks to Artisaria skill, you would draw one from her skill and then draw one more from this one, which is you draw 2 technically. If you don't choose to set it from hand, you can draw 1. Yeah. Up next is the very important set order. Mega Romania is one of the best set orders, I guess. It's a lock order, I would say. So when this card is put into order zone, if your opponent's regards creature or creator, lock one of your opponent's regards. And last is your Elementaria. And yeah, other than that, you can just run your Shadow Armies. It's like everywhere. So that is it for the Artisaria deck profile. Let me know what cards you would run in your build. Just from your own preference. I would like to know what your playstyle preferences, and when you would ask me why do I not run Eureka, I would say for this list, you don't really need her now, since most Artisaria lists don't run her. But yeah, that's honestly it. So I don't know if I should make a deck profile on Haluru, because he's right over there in the corner, but maybe I might, maybe I won't, who knows. So yeah, I think that's it for now. Bye bye. Thanks for watching.